Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and in today's video, I am going to be giving you guys my initial thoughts on Count Dooku and where I think he is good and where I think he is bad. So everything in this video is just going to be my personal opinion, so make sure you guys drop your opinion of Count Dooku down in the comments as well, and let's get a discussion going. Anyways, I'm going to start off with his abilities and talk about them a little bit and how I feel like they go and where they can improve. So the first ability is obviously Lightning Stun, which is a good ability. It is quite effective against infantry, which is a one-hit kill to all except heavies. The thing with this ability though is it does throw the enemies a little bit too far away so that the closing distance gives the enemy enough time to roll away. This is something I think they should have tweaked a little bit and had it a little bit shorter so that all you needed to do was lunge forward and hit the enemy. The lightning stun is good, but if you need to follow up with a heavy or a buffed officer, the pushback is a little bit too far for my opinion. It does have a really short range on it as well, which makes it quite difficult to hit enemies sometimes, and it can leave you exposed to fire. But the thing is, the star card that does boost the distance on it is quite good. So I think at epic level, it gives you an extra 30 distance when you are aiming the lightning stun. So that's really, really good. Mine is at blue level right now. So I'm level 15 and it is at blue card. So I'm pretty sure at this stage, I think it's 20 boosted distance that they give off. So it's not too bad. And at epic level, it's going to be 30. So I think it's going to be fine once I get there. But as someone playing brand new for the first time for Count Dooku, that ability is quite difficult to use. His second ability is Duelist, and I think in my personal opinion, this is his absolute best ability. When activating Duelist, he becomes a complete beast. He speeds everything up. He feels so smooth and so good, and he does damage really quickly. You can take out enemies extremely quickly with this, especially infantry, and that's when you want to be using it when you're around them. You guys will be watching some gameplay of me playing Dooku in the background, and I do get a couple of half decent streaks on Galactic Assault, but unfortunately they do come to an end, so I'm really yet to get a long kill streak with Dooku, but I am definitely working on it. Now the third ability is Expose Weakness, and it is a good ability, but the animation is way too long. I know it's a really cool looking animation and it's definitely something symbolic for Dooku, but I just think it takes way too long and it leaves you really exposed. If you're activating this animation while you're near a group of enemies, you are likely to get melted, and then again after that you have to follow up and close the distance. So the problem with this thing is it has a lock on. So the lock on does take a little bit of getting used to, and it's not always going to lock on right away. I find myself spamming the R1 button just to get it to activate and lock on to someone. So it's kind of hard to use at first, but it's definitely worth it for the damage boost that you do get. It's a great ability in HVV. It does definitely help out with taking out heroes, but I think in GA, I'm going to limit my use of it because it does leave you a little bit too exposed. Now, in terms of just his regular damage output, I think it is really good. It's at a great spot. He one hits infantry from behind except for heavies or buffed officers. He two hits them from the front. I think it's really good. They've put this level on par with Obi-Wan, Grievous, and Count Dooku. I think it's a great spot to have it at, and it definitely feels like you're playing a proper hero. His damage output mixed in with his abilities are absolutely insane. I saw Sammy Boy's video earlier today on Mythbusters that Dooku can do possibly 226 damage from one swing. That's a two-hit kill to a Wookiee, guys. That's absolutely insane if you activate the middle ability and the right ability at the same time. I will have a hero guide out for him later with a bunch more tips once I've figured out a little bit more gameplay with him and gotten the hang of using him completely in both modes. Now, one thing I didn't like about Count Dooku is that he has a very short lunge distance. This lunge distance from Dooku is something that's been a big issue with a few heroes. Obi-Wan had it before. I think it's kind of been fixed a little bit now, but when I've been playing with Count Dooku, it is quite hard to strike enemies sometimes because he does have that fencing style lightsaber. So basically, it's hard to close in on enemies. It's hard to close the gap. His lunge is short and his lightsaber swings stay very close to his chest. So it makes it hard to hit enemies sometimes, which can be quite painful, especially when you get a roly boy. Count Dooku's movement speed is kind of average, but it's not really too big of a deal. He does run kind of slow in my opinion, but it's not too much that it's noticeable. I think he's a little bit slower than the likes of Obi-Wan and Luke and those kind of like all the other Force users, but he's not quite as slow as Grievous and Darth Vader, so that's kind of good as well. He's sort of in the middle, which is pretty good and probably where he should be for an old man. I really like the detail that's been put into Count Dooku. The lightsaber animations are smooth and quick, and they look just like the fighting style that he would use in the shows or the movies. I think it's cool that they've added that and incorporated it to make it more authentic to Count Dooku. Now, the biggest thing that I can stress about Count Dooku, and the biggest positive in my opinion, is that he's pretty much bug-free. The last few times we've had heroes drop with Obi-Wan and General Grievous, there has been at least one or two major bugs come alongside them, and Count Dooku seems to be the smoothest release of them all. I really hope this is a sign that DICE has figured out how to get their heroes down pat, and that we can have a very smooth release for Anakin as as well. Overall, I think Count Dooku is a great hero and he's definitely going to be fun to play as I get the hang of him. I would put him in probably the top 6 or 7 heroes on the list. I don't know quite where I'd rank him yet. I need a bit more playing time, but he's definitely a good hero as opposed to a bad one. At this point, I think the star cards that I'm going to use is the health on kill card, the health regeneration card, and the lightning range card to pretty much just boost him up in GA. And then in heroes vs villains, I still haven't figured out the best cards, but I know I want that health on kill on there, and maybe a couple of other ones once I unlock them. The one that boosts the damage of duelist could be really interesting for damage output, and I think the one with stamina can work okay, but I don't know if I'm going to use that yet. Maybe I'll just use the maximum health regeneration card. So this has been my personal opinion on Count Dooku. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments on your opinions, and we will start talking about it and see where he can be improved. If you have any suggestions on star card loadouts or ways to improve Count Dooku, definitely drop them down in the comments as well, because I would love to hear them. I appreciate all of you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I am going to get out of here, but I will see you later on. I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you always.